At the dawn of the 21st century, mankind was in disarray. The lack of design knowledge and power was crippling the once great society, and the world as they knew it was about to end. We have little archived footage of the world at that time, but what we do know is that around 2050 AD, the cramped living conditions, poverty, and energy crisis caused mass hysteria. Civil wars and land wars broke out all around the world, with citizens protesting their badly designed goods, cities, and transportation systems. A few were able to escape into space before the most prolific organization gained power and established order in the world through design. Thus began the rise of Greenside Design Center. But even beings of sanctity are not free of corruption.
Our organization is now largely responsible for the deep space import, mining, collection, processing, and distribution of helium-3.
What was your greatest challenge in engineering and piloting the first civilian space flight?
NASA.
After the design apocalypse, Greenside Design Center managed to rally the best designers in the world to form a universal group. These are what we call the Council. From about 2600 onwards, the Council has led Earth through thick and thin, through civil wars, through a period of lack of resources, that likes of which we've never seen before.
Yeah, at the time it was a logical decision for us to go look up and go into space.
That's when we knew that our days on Earth were over.
Bear in mind that much of what we know about the universe is formed loosely on samples we've obtained from meteorites hitting the Earth. You know, like, the only way we can find what's out there is by sending out probes, setting up telescopes. We have set up a few deep space telescopes already. We've been able to get new angles on the universe.
Why space, you ask? Well, on Earth we have a limited amount of resources, a certain number of areas in which we can mine, a certain number of areas in which we can grow food. And, well, at a certain point in the history of the human race, the land wars and the resource wars got to a point where it was literally grab more or die. Many races monopolized on this event and decided to move beyond Earth itself into outer space. We, of course, were the first, drawing on technology that already existed to create the first civilian spaceflight, independent of NASA and the agencies that were around at the time. We managed to industrialize space.
A recent contribution to the science community, thanks to our travels, is the addition of 80 new elements to the periodic table, which has now been redesigned.
We have lost many people in space. It's a difficult environment to live in. It's a difficult environment to work in. We've lost many lives. It wreaks havoc on the emotions of crew members when other crew members die in space. The death is so terrible.
During our initial voyages, we lost many crew members to the unforgiving conditions of space. You can just imagine the devastation in morale one experiences coming back with a 24-man flight with only 2 survivors. For us, it was a logical choice to look into human cloning.
We couldn't risk any more human fatalities. We had to start using clones. These clones serve as organic algorithms which can be terminated at a specific time. They are our organic helpers, not so much alive as programmed to communicate and perform specific outputs which we determine. From that point on, we nullified the risk of human death in space. After the economic and social collapse of the globalized empire of Earth, humanity went into a time of disarray. What is design power? The power to control, to create, to destroy. At the turn of the 21st century, Greenside Design Center occupied a small office block in the upper class suburb of Greenside itself. At that point, it was just a university, just schooling students on the process of design. After the global civil wars, Greenside Design Center reclaimed the power of design, monopolizing the entire design culture. This meant that Greenside Design Center was responsible for designing buildings, designing entire cities, and indeed the entire visual element included in them. This gave them an enormous amount of power over the public and the doctrines to which they were exposed.
November 7th, a day of remembrance, a day of gratitude. Greenside Design Center Day.
It's a day of redemption for mankind. A day we remember the events 600 years ago when mankind reached a stage where we could no longer govern ourselves, whereby we needed a power that could control us, manage us.
The organization that shaped the very fabric of our existence.
When all hope was lost, they were there. They came to our rescue, and they are with us now, forever.
We create nanoparticles that propagate to the existing structure of everything with all, the only alteration is the connection. Do you understand? Mm-hmm. Okay, it's pretty much like, instead of building machines that you see, you're taking the very subatomic particles that are spinning, making them mechanical, so that they are controllable. They can rearrange in any structure that you can control it, and it's propagating out, because as it gets to whatever's touching it on that side, it will identify it, class it, alter it, and then like that will repeat the process and propagate out. And what it's doing is it's starting to become faster so that it can catch up with the expansion of the universe. So we're hoping that in like 250 years during our lifetime,